What's up, BookTube? It is Mia and you are watching Select Pages. Thank you for coming back to my channel, and if you're new here, how you doing? So this is Vlogmas day 10 and I am going to do another book tag today, something light and easy, and I am doing the YA as an adult tag. This was created by Keeping Tabs and a couple of other booktubers. I can't remember exactly who, but I know for sure Tabby was one of them. And we're just going to jump right in. Also, Tabby, thank you for tagging me to do this a long time ago. So let's just get right into the questions. Question 1. Raise your hand if you have ever been personally victimized for reading YA as an adult. I've never been personally victimized for reading YA, but I do always get those silly questions of, how come you don't read black people books? Why do you always read teenager books? Why do you always read white people books? And to me, reading is reading. It's like, what does it matter what I read? I like to read. That is what I like to read at the time, and that's what I'm going to do. Question 2. What was the first YA book you read as an official adult? And that would have to be the Vampire Academy series by Michelle Reed. First, when I picked it up on a whim, I saw the book at a thrift shop and it seemed very interesting to me. I believe at the time I picked up like the second book in the series and I really liked it, so I went back and bought the whole thing and kind of much just binge read. I think all of the book was already published at the time. So yeah, and I loved it, and I don't remember reading anything else like that back at that time. Couple of years ago, so definitely probably Vampire Academy. Question 3. Have you ever read a YA book or series and thought, I'm too old for this? Just recently, To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I loved the first book. I thought it was such a cute little contemporary. I loved, I love the characters. I even liked the movie also. But as the series went on, it was kind of like so predictable. It was so annoying at some parts where I was even like, I can't believe I once was a teenager too and had these exact same thoughts that I'm thinking now. Was like, oh my gosh, you're so stupid. Just tell him that you like him. So yeah, I like I said, I do like it, but also I just know that, yeah, it's not for me as an adult. Question 4. Why do you think YA gets such a bad rap from non-YA readers? Really, just because it's YA. Like, a lot of people don't consider YA like an actual genre, and it's not a genre. It's actually, like an age bracket, I believe. I think that's like the actual correct term for it. So it's kind of like between the ages of like 14 to 18, maybe early 20s, like 2021, something like that. During that time frame in your life, it's like, why are you sitting reading? Like, you really don't want to, or half the time you're being forced to do it for class. It's an assigned reading. So I think it's more so just like it's not real writing. It's just something that they're giving you guys to read just to say that, the YA bracket, age bracket is reading. Versus the older folks who reads like classics or just, other main adult books. I don't want to say they look down on it, but to them I think it's more like it's not really writing. It's just a phase. You'll get over it. Which really sucks because, like I said, all in all, reading is reading, and read what the hell you want to read. Question 5. Is there an adult author you would love to see write a YA book? Yes, I would love to see Leanne Moriarty write a YA book. I love her adult books. I think her characters are so well developed. I love her writing style, the concepts of her stories, how everything just kind of unfolds over the period of time. Of course, all books do. But I think I would love to see her do that with a teenager. Like, just the angst, that time in your life where you're just like, I hate everyone. Everyone is stupid and no one understands me. I would just love to see what she would do with a character like that in one of her books. It doesn't have to be like the exact same setting, but I think it would be a phenomenal read and something that she can market off to the younger crowd also. Question 6. Is there a YA author you would love to see write an adult book? And okay, that's just a reverse of the other question. I would definitely love to see Rick Riordan write an adult book, just the same as the last question. His teenage characters to me are so well developed and real and just very relatable, and I want to see if he can add that on those same characteristics to a adult in adult situations. it doesn't have to be fantasy. Like, I would actually love to read like a contemporary from him, an adult contemporary. I think that would be awesome. So yeah, let's try to get that in the works, Mr. Riordan. Question 7. In your opinion, is there a YA or adult author who has successfully written books in both age categories? Now, I couldn't really think of anyone, and I even went back to like my Goodreads to see if I found like an overlap, but the only one that I could find on my own was Kelly Armstrong, and I read both her adult books and her YA series. Now, even though I gotta say I am not really a big fan of her YA series books, I do enjoy them, I do read them, but if it was like a choice between am I going to buy her YA books or am I going to buy her adult books, I would choose her adult books every time. But she has been successful because she has many, she has a few YA series that's been pretty popular. It was a couple of years ago, and she's still writing her adult series too. So I would call that successful. Even if I'm not a fan of the YA series, I think that's still a win. Question 8. Is there a YA book in your opinion should be labeled as adult because of certain themes and vice versa? Okay, so I got 3 books for this. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they was marketed. Are they YA or not? But I'm going to go with Nevernight, Illuminate, and Six of Crows. I would clearly make those adult books just because of the themes. And if you read those books, you know what I'm talking about. It's not even like sexual or nothing like that. It's just, there's like a lot of themes in there about, you know, character-wise, development-wise, personality, you know, just things that you think that you would see more so in adult characters versus teenage characters. And I think in all 3 of these series, the teenagers are like no more than like 16, maybe 17 years old. And while reading these books, they did not seem like 16 and 17-year-olds to me. That's pretty much the only reason why. And like I said, I could be wrong. They could have been marketed as a, you know, a new adult book. So if they are, then hey, then they did their job. Like, let's just say, like, I wouldn't want Danny reading Nevernight, I'll be honest with you. I mean, she's only 11. But, you know, a couple of years from now, it's like, do I really want her reading something like that yet? Or, I don't know. Just like the same controversy with the Throne of Glass and the, what's the other one? The Avatar series. It's like, all of that stuff in those books, and that's labeled a YA book. Yeah, I think the line is just like very thin sometimes when it's like who's reading these books or who is going to attract, you know. And I think what they have in mind is sometimes it's like labeled more towards like the 20-somethings, but they got to remember we got 14-year-olds who are grabbing these books too. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I'm rambling because it's just, those are the 3 books that I would choose as adult books. Forget everything else I say. I don't even know. I done lost my train of thought. Question 9. Is there a book or series you loved as a teen but feel differently now that you are an adult? Okay, when I was a teen, I was not reading YA at all. I didn't even know what YA was, never heard of it. I was into, because it was what was trending at the time when I was like back in like high school, and we read a lot of urban novels, a lot of street novels, you know. So I was reading like Coldest Winter Ever, Fly Girl, Be More Careful, like books of that nature, which was about hustling in the streets or fast girls in the streets, you know, kind of thing. We was reading like a lot of Zane erotica books when that first started popping off. So do I feel differently about that now? Definitely, because I was like, once again, like 13, 14-year-old reading this book, sharing the books. Like one person was able to buy a copy and we would all like share it in the classroom. Like, okay, I'm done with it, it's your turn. And it wasn't something that we should have been reading at that time, but then again, it was something that was going on at that time, especially if you live in the hood. That's what you relate to. But like I said, now that I'm an adult, I'm glad for those type of books. But then on the flip side, it's like, but why do we have to have those type of books? And it's just not something that I'm into right now. I have no interest in reading them because I'm not a street person. I was a very sheltered child. So I couldn't relate to them, but I was reading them because that was what was popular. Like I said, but now at my adult age, it's like, no interest. I don't want to read them, and I don't care. So I do, you know, to support Black authors, because mainly Black authors write books like that, but that is a whole nother discussion for a whole another video, so stay tuned for that one. Question 10. What do you like about YA books that you can't get from adults, and what don't you like about YA books? Okay, so what I like about YA books is that you have so much more leeway for the characters to make dumb decisions. Like, and I mean that as a funny joke, only because it stretches out the story where you want to keep reading. Because with a lot of with teenager stuff, it's always something as simple as a miscommunication or just stupid judgment or something of that magnitude. Like I said, it kind of like keeps the story going. It keeps you wondering, okay, now they done did this, how are they going to get out of this debacle? Versus reading an adult book. Reading an adult book where an adult makes a dumb decision and you're sitting there and you're like, okay, I know this is a book. I know the character is written this way, but that's the dumbest thing that they could have done. They know better than that. You don't get as angry with YA characters as you do with, well, me personally, I don't get angry with YA characters that I do with adult characters who makes the same dumb decisions. Like, so I feel more relaxed, I guess, I don't know, when reading YA novels with characters like that versus the adults, because I feel like this is an adult character. It should have been written much more better. An adult would never have made that decision versus a YA character where I'm like, the kid is only 14 years old. What do you expect them to do? So, and I think the second half of that question, what don't you like about YA books? YA books follow the same tropes. I don't care if it's a fantasy, a contemporary, a sci-fi, whatever, a mixture of all three, a thriller, horror, they all follow the same tropes. It's like, and I know like tropes in a broad sense is just the trope. It has to follow one of them, but it's like you don't see it too much in adult novels. I think because maybe like because adult novels are more like real life shit versus YA. You just, like I said, you just had that lead way of doing it. But I would just like to see something different other than the chosen one or the beautiful girl or the love triangle, the whatever else you could think of. I can't even think of nothing else right now, but that is definitely something that I do not like about YA books. And you know what, that's it. We are at the end of the tag. I thought there was more questions, but I guess that's it. So for those of you who stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't never ever miss a video. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, loves.